To the previous class. So in this class I am going to cover the transaction control language. So before going to the transaction control language, I want to show you one example before that. Okay, simple example is a bank and customer, and see, there is a ATM here, there is a ATM machine, and a customer wants to withdraw some amount from the ATM machine. Okay, what are the steps he is going to follow? The first step is going to insert ATM card. Next, what is going to do? Next, enter PIN. Next, enter amount. Next, after that, it will confirm amount. It will write confirm whether you enter the same amount or do you want to change the amount, right? You will confirm the amount. After that, what you are going to do? Then you will get the money. Okay, then money, you will take money, you will get money from the vending machine and you will take money, right? So these are the 5 steps you are going to do. Let's say you have entered the amount and you got a screen called confirm amount screen. There the system fails, the system crashes. So the things that may happen are the things that might not. You should not allow the things to happen. Like, which one you should not allow? Since you didn't press the confirm amount, that amount should not be detected by the, it should not be deducted from your account, because since you didn't press the confirm amount, okay, you didn't press the confirm amount, the system crashed. So since you didn't pressed it, so the system should not allow any of the transactions, because even though you press the amount, but that amount should not be deducted. That is the one way. Let's say after taking the money, the system crashes. What happens? Since you already took the money, by default it should be deducted, your amount should be deducted from your account. Okay, so this 4th step is important, where up to 4 steps, if any of the one step fails, then you want to do everything as undo. Up to 5th step, if all the steps passes up to 5th step, if all the steps successfully completed, then you want the amount to be deducted. Like, you are controlling the flow. If there is any error before 5th step, then do undo. Okay, if there is no error, then complete the transaction and deduct the amount from your bank. Okay, means you are controlling one type of you are controlling a flow. See, let's say the system crashed at confirm amount, and when you come back, what happens? It will ask you again to start insert ATM card, enter PIN, enter amount. It will not directly go to the confirm amount and it will not show you the confirm screen, right? So this is one example. The other example is that when you go to the online shopping mart, any online shopping one like eBay or Amazon or anything. So first, normally what you do, you will, I am going to show in a different window. You have different shopping marts. Let's say it's Amazon or anything. So first you will select an item. Choose an item. Choose an item. Then next, check out that one, add to checkout, right? Checkout, add to checkout. Then after that, you will go to the checkout, and then you will give your card details. Then next, after giving the card details, you will confirm the amount. Confirm amount. Then after that, you will get one a transaction ID saying that the amount has been successfully completed. Okay, here let's see. So this is the checkpoint. So you added the item, step 1. So you add to the checkpoint 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 steps. So now let's see, if you go to the card details, and when it asks you the confirm amount, okay, so when it asks you the confirm amount, you do cancel. Even though you do cancel, and when you go back again it will start from asking the card details, but it will not ask you to select the items from the beginning. Your items will be there in the checkout as usual. Okay, but you are completed up to step 3. When you go to the step 4 and you are given the card details, and when you go to the step 5, it will ask you for the confirmation amount. There you kept as cancel. So normally we might expect that it should start from the beginning. It will not start, because it will start from the step 4 again. You need to go to the checkout, enter, then again you need to enter the card details, and again you need to confirm. So this is because here your items that you added to the checkout will be available even you cancel the transaction. Even you cancel this amount, then also the first 3, whatever you did in the first 3 steps, that all will be available in the website, right? Even you again go back, already you can see your pre-existing items. It means that here you are going to group it. You are going to group first 3 things in a single one, next 4 and 5 in other step, and 6 as the other step, or 4, 5, 6 as the other step. Like, so previous one we have seen, right? If the transaction failed at the step 1, so depending, if the transaction fails at step 4, it should again start from the step 1, right? If the transaction failed, or let's say you have said cancel, okay, then normally it will ask from the step 3. Let's say there is a crash in the system, then when you enter your system, when you go and again you go to some other ATM, and when you do, it will again start from the beginning, because it will this is not stored in the, because the system is said that okay, system has been crashed, so it is going to delete all the data. Okay, but here you are asking it to save the first 3 steps, even the 4th, 5, 6. If any of the step got failed in all the 4, 5, 6, then it is not going to ask you again to select the items, because you already checked in. So this all kind of flow of data you are controlling. See, if one step fails, you want to fail all the other steps, you want to undo. Simple way, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. If any of the steps fails from 4, 5, 6, if let's say 4 step failed, 5th step failed, 6th step failed, you want to save up to 3, but you want to do all these 3 steps. Let's say 5th step got failed and 4th one is successfully completed, and you failed at 5th step, then you also, whatever the thing successfully completed is the 4th step, you want to undo it. Okay, but you don't want to undo this 1 to 3 steps. You just want to only do undo after 3 steps. Like this, you can do the grouping of the things by using the transactions. So in the transactions, there are multiple ways. The first, there are different types. One is the transaction. You are going to ask the system. In the SQL server, difference between Oracle and SQL is that in the SQL server, you need to forcefully begin the transaction. But in the Oracle, by default, you can begin a transaction by default. Okay, in the Oracle, you will have different tools. By default, you can begin the transaction, but in the SQL server, you need to manually begin the transaction. Okay, so first you will start the transaction and you add the commit. Commit means to write if all the steps got failed, all the steps successfully completed, then you want to write all the steps into the database. Commit. Roll back. If any of the step out of 6 steps, if any of the step got failed, then you want to undo all the steps. By using rollback, you will be undoing. Or I have one more called save point. Okay, like I can save up to this 3 as one save point, 4, 5, 6 as one save point. So if any one of the steps from 4, 5, 6 gets failed, I just want to roll back up to the 3rd step only. So you are saving this 1 to 3 steps. So by using save point, you can do that. Okay, so like this. If you don't have save point, the only option you have is that you need to do undo for all the 6 steps. But by using save point, you can group them, or you can group certain steps, so that if the transaction fails, then you can undo only up to certain steps. So by using save point, you can achieve the task. Now we will go and do example by table way. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to create a table. So I'll name the table name as TCL underscore temp, and I'll have columns called ID as integer, and next I'll have the name as varchar of 10. Done. I got it, right? So now what I am going to do, I am going to insert some values. Insert into, I'll give TCL underscore temp values. What I'll give 1 comma a. This is a normally I given. From here what I am going to do, I am going to begin a transaction. Go means it is kind of end. This step has been ended, so you can the other one is from the different level, different execution. Okay. So now what I will do, I will insert one more value, or I will begin the transaction, begin transaction, and I can name the transaction as T1. Whatever I want, I can name the transaction also. Now what I will do, now I will try to insert some value. So I will give quotes, I will try to insert some value. Same command I will write, I will insert 2 values, that is it, 2 as a value. This is after beginning a transaction. So I will insert 2 comma b. Done. Now what I am going to do, I am going to do the save point. I am going to do the save point for this transaction, and then let's see what it's going to happen. So now I will do save, and I will give the transaction. Once you see, then you will be okay. Save transaction, I will name it as save point 1. This is a save point 1. Go. Then I will insert values. Just I will copy and paste it. I will insert it as a 3 comma c, 3 comma c, and then I will insert a value as 4 comma b or 4 comma d. Now I will also update one value. Update TCL underscore temp, set name equal to DDD, where ID equal to 4. I am done with this one. So now what I want, after going certain steps, I want to just do the rollback. Okay, rollback, and I will do the trans up to this one. I saved up to this point, right? I want to do whatever steps I followed after this step points, I want to do undo up to that step point, up to that point. So I will do rollback save point, I will do go. Okay. Now after that, now I will insert a value again. Insert. Now I will insert a value as 5 comma e. Okay. Now I will do a select. Okay, this is nothing. After that, we can write select command. So we will go step by step. Okay, we will keep this one aside and we will go step by step process. So this is the way I got begin insert into a value from the begin. Okay, insert, yeah, insert into, this is the thing. So now what I will do, I will just open one paint, close all windows. Yeah. So now see, so we'll go step by step process. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the first thing what we are doing here, create a table called TCL underscore temp. That table is having a column called ID name. Okay, the table is having a values called ID name. Now what we are going to see, first I have inserted a value. Before transaction I inserted 1 comma a, right, 1a. Then I started the transaction. After this I started, and what after starting the transaction, what I did, I inserted 2 comma b. After inserting 2 comma b, I saved the transaction up to here. After that what I did, I have inserted 3 comma c, I have inserted 4 comma d, and I updated 4 DDD. And after that I am doing rollback. Rollback means undo up to this point. I am doing rollback up to this point, right? After that I am again inserting 5e. Now after executing this all steps, what will be my output in a table? Can anyone say? Hello? Can you all hear me? It's only you can guess and you can say. I started a transaction. Before starting a transaction, I inserted the value. After that, I inserted one more. I started the transaction. I inserted the value 2b. After that, I saved that up to that point. I saved the transaction from starting to up to that point. After that, I inserted 2 records. I updated them, and after that, I am doing rollback, means I am doing undo up to the point where I have saved the data. Okay, done. I did rollback. Rollback means undo. So 3C 4DD will be undone. It will be undo. After that, again I am inserting 5e. So what happens? When I do the final select, I will be getting only 1a, 2b and 5a. 5e. Because there will be no this one 2b and 3c and 4d. Sorry, there will be no 3c and 4d because you did rollback up to that saved point, right? So now you can see that. I will execute this. Done. When I execute this, I'll get a result. See, whenever there is a record insert or update, yeah, it will show one record affected, one record affected. Okay. So now I'll go to this column. I'll do the select command now. The same way, whatever I said, you can see the same number of values. Select star from TCL underscore temp. That's it. When I use this, now you can see there is no 3 and 4 because it has been rolled back. Did you get my point?
Yes. Yeah.
So mostly, very rarely you will be using, but it's a kind of thing. If you have an idea, then it will be okay. Okay. So what is the use of the transaction means? At the back end, this is a way how the database, if you write any data into the database, right? Okay. This is the way it is going to happen. It is going to follow this method. See, I have explained any database, every database will have two files. That is a file with .mdf and other is a file with .ldf. MDF is a master file and LDF is a normal, it is a log file, right? So now let's say I got a table called ABC. I got a table called ABC. The table is having ID and name. Okay, ID as 1, name as A, ID as 2, name as B, ID as name as C. So when I insert ID as 1, A, what happens? It is going to take directly, it is going to insert in a log file. At the same time, it is going to write permanently into the database. It is going to write permanently into the database. When I don't use any transactions, it is going to write directly. Permanently, it is going to write in the database. When I don't use the transactions. If I use a transaction, what happens? It will write into the database. It will write into the database 1A, 2B and 3C. And that entry is made into this log file, but this data is not permanently written into the database. It is only written temporarily, and that entry is made into the log file when you use the transactions. And at the end of the transaction, you can use two steps. One is a commit or rollback. Commit means write permanently into the database. Rollback means you can do undo. Whatever things you did, you can do undo that all steps. So how can you undo? When you use a transaction, that one will be that entries will be made into the log file, but it will not be completely written to the MDF. Like by default, what happens? First, the entry is made into the LDF, that is a log file, and after that immediately it is committed. It is written into the database. Immediately it is written into the database. Okay. Once it is written, you can't do the undo. So in order to overcome this situation, you will create a transaction. When you create a transaction, what happens? The entry will be made in the log file. At the same time, it will also be written into the table database, but it will not be written completely. It will not be written permanently. It will only be written when at the end of the transaction, if you say commit, it will be written permanently. If you do rollback or whatever you did, it all becomes undo. Okay, so here the log file is very important. It plays a major role. So whenever you perform a transactions, then the log file space will it occupies more space. The log file will be occupying more space. Suppose if you are deleting, if you are inserting some data into a table, let's say you are inserting 100 million records, then that 100 million record will be temporarily written, and that all entries will be made into the log file. So the size of the log file will be increased if you use transaction. If you don't use the transaction, it will be committed and the log file will have the space occupied on the log file will be very less, because you are immediately committing the data. Okay. So like that, there are couple of scenarios. So mostly you will be using the transaction when it is necessary, but as per my thing, I am using a transaction only in my current project, and previously long ago like in Cleveland where I use the transactions. That's it. Everyone is clear with this? So you use always transaction to begin. You begin the transaction. You will use the save point to save the transaction up to one level. You do the rollback to undo the transaction. That's it. If you want to commit, see the same thing. I'll just drop table and recreate that one. Control Z. I have it dropped. Now instead of doing rollback, I do commit. So what happens? The data will be written into the database completely, permanently. That's it. You can do only one rollback. There, if you go in depth, it is like a bit different thing. So now when I do insert, oh sorry, I think I dropped it, but I didn't create the table. Yeah, now it will work. It will work up to the select list. So now what happens? See, now if I do the select star from, I'll get all the records. That 3 and 4 which I did update and delete, right? It will not go. See, because I committed the data. Means whatever you did, it will be committed. It will be permanently returned to the database. See, that is the use of the commit. By default, it will only show when you use the. If you want to start any transaction, you need to manually start them. But in the Oracle, by default, it will start the transaction. Okay. So if you have any doubts in the TCL, you can ask me. Hello?
Yeah.
So everyone is clear with this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are good with this transaction. The other important thing I want to cover is that the structure of the query. See, when I did this, it's asking something like there is a transaction, right? When I closed it, there are uncommitted transaction. Do you wish to commit this transaction before closing the window? See. Okay. You can click yes or no, whatever you want. So now, oh yeah, I'll stop this video.